A couple years ago, I met an inspiring military veteran who founded a program that isn't just life-changing, it's life-saving. It's called CreatiVets, and they help wounded veterans process their trauma through songwriting. Let's take a quick look back at how the organization has impacted just one veteran.
I've never written a song before, so for me, I wanted to, like, the whole core of the song was going to be broken. And we worked through it, and watching Dan and Richard and Jesse just bounce it back and forth, and they're coming up with the music, and then we're hitting all the lines. And at one point I said, you know what though, when I'm with my kids, I feel unbroken. You know, Richard and Jesse and Dan gave me a path, you know, it closed that bridge between my kids and I. And I feel like we're closer because of it. It's our song. You know, I'm thriving today because of what they offered me. And, you know, I can't ever thank them enough.
That was 2 years ago during the pandemic, and Richard, the founder of CreatiVets, couldn't be in studio, so I'm so happy to meet him in person today. So hello and welcome to the show officially.
I know, it's so good to be in person.
I know, and nothing beats it. So remind everybody like how CreatiVets works.
Yeah, so we empower wounded veterans to heal through arts and music, but our main program that everyone loves is that songwriting program.
Yeah.
We're flying out combat-disabled veterans, just like Dan, to Nashville, Tennessee to write their story for the first time with #1 hit songwriters and artists to tell their story. And what's really impactful about that is, like, when I first called a veteran, and they all have mentors, so if it's a Vietnam veteran, we pair them with a Vietnam veteran to be their mentor.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I was blown up 4 times. I saw my buddy die. What'd you go through? And they trust me enough to tell me their story. And I say, well, that's the story we're going to tell when we get to Nashville.
Yeah.
It's one that they haven't been able to tell their spouse or their kids. The moment we write that song, the first person they text it to is their wife and their kids. It's the people that they can't talk to. So we're finally bridging that gap.
No, that's why I write. Is sometimes I have a problem communicating in person, so through songs it's like easier if I write it down and figure out almost what I'm feeling and how to relay that. So the organization has grown lots in 2 years.
Oh my gosh, yes. So now we're 10 years old, but we doubled in size since we last talked to you in fundraising. Veterans served, but also on the wait list.
Yeah.
And so the impact is so needed right now, especially veterans. They're not the first ones to jump at the arts. and with the new, like,
they should be.
Oh, they should
so
be.
Healing.
And that's what we're trying to showcase, because there's roughly 20 suicides a day in the veteran military space. But the crazy number is 14 of those 20 don't actually seek help. So, like, how do you get to them? How do you get to the ones who are not seeking help? And so what we did, we partnered with this country music festival called Tailgates and Tall Boys. They said, for free, have this space, just do whatever you want. So I put up a mobile songwriting studio.
Yeah.
I told my team, Jesse included, who was here last time, I said, hey, don't tell any veterans we're coming. Let's just plop it down. If a veteran comes up, just try to talk them into telling their story.
Yeah.
And so James and his wife show up. We don't know them. They see this, like, what's this? This is a songwriting experience. We brought Nashville songwriters. He was very hesitant at first. He said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
His wife talked him into it. He gets in there, 2 to 3 hours goes by. He comes out, he was a changed man right then, but we didn't know how powerful it was. 2 weeks later, we're doing the same festival in Bloomington, Illinois now. He shows up. He has his CreatiVets shirt, but he embroidered all of his lyrics on the back, and he told us what happened. And I always get emotional because, you know, I struggled coming home. He was like, that was going to be the last date with my wife. I legitimately bought those tickets to the festival to show her a good time before I ended my life. But I saw a sign, a literal sign, CreatiVets, and I did the songwriting session, and since then, I've been alcohol-free, and I've just a new dedication to life. 6 months later, he just spoke at our gala, still alcohol-free, still alive today, and it was all because he was able to open up for the first time.
Needed that release. Wow. I'm like, both of us, we're like fighting it. It's fine. That's so beautiful and it's so powerful.
It is.
Like art, it can be so healing. It's so, so you're expanding in other ways as well. Tell everybody.
So we're expanding in so many ways because it's so needed. We partner with this really large company to actually create a mobile songwriting studio now, so we can go all over the country and help veterans.
Then you can reach more people. That's
exactly,
awesome.
And they can just find us without having to seek out the help. And the real big thing, I'm trying to push the limits on this, is I'm building a music platform. So we've written well over 500 songs, from everywhere to, like, Dan, how do I tell my kid I'm broken, to very inspirational songs, to Battle of Nazaria songs, to jobs like Corman songs. And what we're doing is we're tagging each one of those songs. So my hope in the future is a veteran goes to the VA hospital. They may not want to talk to you if you're a clinician, but you could type in just certain keywords, Marine, faith-based, suicidal ideations, Fallujah, and it'll populate a song through a program that they could play for them right there. So
you don't feel alone. You're connecting with someone.
This sounds like me. This is what I went through. And we've seen that in real time already, so I just know it's going to change the world.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
20 years of feeling their eyes.
CreatiVets has changed my life completely. It shaped it with music, and it saved it with art.
My dream is I didn't get him out alive. I lost him. and that has haunted me for 51 years.
Learn to forgive 'cause you won't forget. And remember to always make your peace.
And the reality is I did get him out, and this program has helped me realize that.
All right, y'all, we are back with Richard, the founder of CreatiVets. The program helps wounded veterans cope with their physical and emotional trauma through songwriting. That was the clip from a documentary being made that profiles this life-changing program. So tell us more about the documentary and why do it.
Yeah, so my buddy Johnny Bulford, he's the one singing on that, he's had multiple #1s, but dedicated his life to helping us tell these stories.
Yeah.
He randomly was like, hey, you need to know my friend Nick Nanton. He makes these documentaries on amazing people doing amazing things.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, he has like 33 Emmys, just phenomenal human and storyteller, doesn't charge us.
He's just like my friend, and he's like
just a random
all
friend.
the accolades.
And then he just, here's my story, he's like, let's do this. So it's a little portion of the origin story of how we got started, because it's kind of crazy me going from, brain injury in Iraq, never do art music, to now doing art music at one of the best art schools in the country and teaching it and writing it. And so he wanted to do that, but also showcase like our astrophotography program that we do for Native American population, and for our art program and our music program, and just let everyone know that art is an option, doesn't matter who you are.
Absolutely. Well, writing can be such a powerful tool for all of us to repurpose our thoughts and memories, figure stuff out. So we have someone in the audience here to better explain that. Say hello to psychologist and Pilot Pen spokesperson, Dr. Elizabeth Scott. Hello, welcome to the show. So, Dr. Scott, CreatiVets helps vets who have been through difficult trauma, but you say that we all have a tendency to think of ourselves negatively, which I think everyone would probably agree on. So why do you think so?
Research shows that we all tend to have a negativity bias, and that can translate into a bias about our self-beliefs as well. So if you think about giving a talk to like 100 people, if 95% of them are riveted and really excited about what you have to say, and 5 are just not feeling it and not engaged, you'll notice those 5, that 5%, more than you'll probably notice the 95%. So that negative feedback takes more of a weight than the positive. And that can be traced back to our kind of hunter-gatherer roots when we were hunting, gathering, and trying to survive. If we found things that were dangerous, we really needed to remember that, and it needed to really stick with us so that it would keep us safe. So it's more of a survival mechanism, whereas it was nice to remember things are pleasurable, but not as vital. And it's believed that that translates into that inner critic voice that we have of self-negativity. And fortunately, there are exercises like writing exercises that can reframe and reshape our perspectives.
Well, you said it better than I. I was like, wow. I was like, well, April 10th is officially National Erase Self-Negativity Day in support of the National Association of Mental Illness. So it was created by our season-long partner, Pilot Pen, makers of Friction, the go-to erasable pen of the Kelly Clarkson Show. And so, Dr. Scott, you recommend exercises very similar to what Richard does in his program for anyone dealing with negative thoughts, right? So tell us about that. Why?
Yeah, absolutely. We can tackle our negative self-beliefs by becoming aware of them and then processing them. So what I recommend is becoming more aware of those negative self-beliefs and writing one down, and then erasing those words, physically erasing them, and rewriting something that's more positive, that is something that you would rather believe in yourself. That's something that you can believe, but it doesn't usually come up. And studies also show that color can have an impact on that. So you can write basically your feelings about a situation, go back and erase the negative words, and either put them with less emotionally charged words or more positive words. And in doing so, you can actually reshape the way you conceptualize things and the way you see things.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Scott. That was incredible. So, Richard, so everyone at the show and our friends at Pilot Pen, makers of the Friction, the go-to erasable pen of the Kelly Clarkson Show, continue to be inspired by how CreatiVets is changing lives. So to help you keep on growing the program, Pilot is giving you $5,000 just to help out in any way possible. And I'm going to put in 5 as well because I'm a songwriter and it's so healing, and I know the power in that healing, and it's so important what you're doing. So to learn more about National Erase Self-Negativity Day, head to Kelly Clarkson, that's my name, head to kellyclarksonshow.com.